Okay, welcome to this week's edition of Coffee with Coach Caffey. I have my Texas football magazine, and I got that last week. And every time we get this, it's symbolic of football season is almost here, and so we're looking forward to it. I know a lot of football coaches are breathing a huge sigh of relief after the UIL announced that pretty much they're going to be able to play a full season. A lot of coaches and kids were holding their breath on that, and so and fans too. People were very excited about that news, and I hope everything goes smoothly and everybody stays healthy. This week we're talking about buck ball. The White Deer Bucks, and that was a special time. We had a special team, and Coach Duncan put together a highlight video for us at the end of that year, and he entitled it Buck Ball. And because we really had a different brand of football than anyone else in the Panhandle at that time. There weren't many people that were doing the things that we were doing. We were running the run and shoot offense, and we were throwing the ball around, and we were actually doing a whole lot of check with me back before, this was, gosh, I can't even remember what year it was, about in the late 80s, and before all of the, offenses that have evolved over the last since then. We were doing a lot of check with me, and we'd go to the line of scrimmage, and we'd just have a formation called, and then we'd call the play at the line of scrimmage, and so we'd actually signal it into the receivers, and the linemen knew. We'd call, we'd have a number call that would tell what the line what to do, and then we'd have a signal that would tell the receivers and the backs what to do. So, at that time, people were saying, whoa, man, these guys are pretty innovative out there. And it was a lot of fun to coach these guys. They're very talented. And I had, we had scrimmaged White Deer 2 years in a row, and I'd seen this group of athletes coming through. And I knew that they were going to be a special team. First year I was there, we struggled a little bit. And quite honestly, it's hard to put in a passing offense first year. It's hard to change a team from a run-oriented offense to a pass offense in one season. And so we had to do some things like, we lined up in straight T and ran the belly option a good bit that first year. And Jeff was our quarterback. He was a good running quarterback. But during that time, we had when we found out our schedule after that first year, we found out that we were going to have to beat the Happy Cowboys to win the district championship. So we came up with the idea that we were going to have to throw the ball to beat them. They were a very strong, physical, disciplined team, and they're great against the run. So we felt like their secondary might be their weakness, and so we decided we're going to have to throw the ball in order to beat Happy for the district championship. Of course, that was our goal. And so we moved Bubba Reed to quarterback, which was a good move for us because Bubba ended up being second team All-State, rushed for about 1,600 yards, or rushed for 800 yards and passed for about 1,600. And, we blew some people out so quickly that Bubba, we probably had a lot more, but we just never felt like we wanted to run the score up on anyone. So there was a lot of games Bubba would come out at halftime and we'd put the seconds in. And so, but Bubba Reed was a dynamic player. Jason Sides was a great running back, very talented, big, fast kid, and then Jeff Caffey, he moved to inside receiver, and we motioned him around a little bit. And Dwayne Coffey and Stephen Gortmaker, I think, were the wideouts. And so we had some big linemen too, big Jeremy Savage and Mitch Ford, I think, played college football up at Panhandle State. Tim Kirby was our center, and he's one of my most enjoyable kids that I ever coached. He's very dedicated, worked hard, just an outstanding young man. And so, you know, we got to that happy game. We tied Gruber that year and struggled a little bit with the run and shoot when we got down close to the goal line. And so we got to move the ball well against Gruber, just couldn't quite get it in the end zone. And we ended up tying him 7-7, I think, or 14-14, something like that. So we go into the happy game. I believe we'd lost to Clarendon, non-district, but and they were a bigger school than us. And so Happy comes to White Deer to play, and you know, very exciting game, big crowd. The stands were packed, and you know, the White Deer fans, they would just line the fence, and you know, they could be a little bit tough on you if you went to the field house and weren't doing well at halftime. But so anyway, Happy pulled ahead of us late in the game. I think there was about 2 minutes left, and we had to drive the length of the field to beat them. And I still remember we ran trips right, 72 all up, and Bubba hits Jason Sides. Or it may have been empty. I think it was empty. And he hit Jason Sides running right down the middle for about 50 yards and set up our winning touchdown. So the next play, we score, the refs call it back. Then the next play, we score, and the refs call it back. And man, I tell you, the White Deer fans, they were hopping mad, and so I was a little bit aggravated too. And so we throw a screen pass, I think, to Sides, and he gets the ball down there close to the end zone, and so and there's not much time left, and it was 4th down. And so I call timeout, and all the kids come to the sideline, and they're really stirred up, and you know, and they're ready to go win the game. And I just think the odds are against us, scoring 3 times against this good defense. And so I decided to kick a field goal. Oh my goodness, it was kind of like that Hoosiers game. All the team looks at me like that Hoosiers movie where the team looks at the coach and says, "Oh, coach, come on, come on." I said, "No, we're going to kick it." And so old Mitch goes out there to kick it, and all the guys take a knee on the sideline. They're praying for victory. and old Mitch kicks it through. And John Davis down there, he's the ball boy. He raises his hands, and I see that he's, that it's good. And the ref, one of the refs told me after the game, he said, "You know, if that hadn't gone through, I was running for my car," because he said he's afraid that our fans were going to tear him apart afterwards. But it did, and we made several good plays at the end of the game on defense, and we won the district championship. And so that was a big night for us. I had some great coaches there. Coach Samaniego, he's like the Fonz. He was cool, and he headed up our defense, and you know, they ran to the football hard and were a great defensive team. Tom Duncan was our offensive line coach. Old Tom was a veteran coach, and he coached with a lot of enthusiasm. And I still recall we were playing Highland Park one night, and they scored and we scored, and it was a scoring match, and we got up into the 40s apiece, and they scored on us. And I still remember Tom Duncan running by me hollering, "Score some more points, coach, score some more points." He was really excited, and it was a fun game. Tom Johnson joined our staff. He was great coach. He was one of those great all-around coaches. He was our basketball coach too, and he had won in football, basketball, and track, and it made him special for us, and he was just a winner. Our two junior high coaches were also really special, Tommy Thornburg and Terry Cox, and they did a super job of getting those guys ready for high school football, and they always did a great job of scouting for us too. I still remember Terry Cox talking at the making the pep rally speech in the playoffs, and he made this analogy, and I think it's a good one, that the regular season is like a river, but the postseason is like the ocean. It's wild, and it's more dangerous. And so, that year we were very disappointed. One of the most disappointing losses I've ever had was we lost to Hart that night over there and in Canyon, and in the first round of the playoffs, and it was just one of those nights we just didn't play that well. And again, we got some penalties that killed us. But those guys are all super people. Larry Johnston, I enjoyed working with him. He was our superintendent there. He was a good guy, and those guys all went on to be real successful in lots of different ways, and they were quality people, and they had a strong fellowship of Christian athletes there. Excuse me, and they were good character type kids, and so it was a great time for us. Well, thank you for watching this week's edition of Coffee with Coach Caffey, and I want to remind you of my email address is stcaffey@hotmail.com, and so if you would like to send a question to me or a response, well, if you want to, you can just give me an email there. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you next week. Bye.